you to be able to see what's going on. And we are going to go live on the YouTube channel, Parenting 911 YouTube channel. Okay? Yeah, I'll figure it all out as we go. What about that? Yes, you know, I cannot allow that to stop what's going on or frustrate me, so we'll figure it out. All right? You ready?
I'm rolling.
All right, we're about to go live on the YouTube channel as well.
Can I get a break in the middle?
We'll take a little break, yes, because when I finish and pull her up, then we'll be breaking then.
Okay. I just want to make sure I'm running out of battery.
Okay, yes. All right. Well, hello everyone. I want to welcome you to the Parenting 911 Citywide event. I want to welcome you all to the Parenting 911 Citywide event. So you all hold on. So you all tell me, why is it sounding like that? You all don't hear it, but in the background, it is repeating everything I say. And I'm not sure why. Okay, I'm going to try to go ahead and pull up my stuff anyway. So what I also need for someone to do, please pull up Parenting 911 on YouTube, the YouTube channel, and see if it's showing there, and then we'll keep going. You don't see it loud, and maybe that's why I'm getting that noise back. You don't see Parenting 911 is not live on YouTube.
Yeah, no lie.
So you all just hold on, bear with me for a moment. It says YouTube right here. The content of this meeting is being sent to YouTube, is what it says. And there it's showing me. So if you click on the button that says live, it still doesn't show?
Yeah, nothing.
Okay, now what? Anything different? All right, well, all I can say is we tried. We're going to keep going. We've got too much to cover. I need to, yeah, that should have worked, but I don't know why it's not. All right, thank you all so much. I'm going to try to disconnect. Stop. We're good. All right. So we won't go live on YouTube, but we will keep moving. taking care of their grandchildren. Well, you still have to blend, all right? Blended families can even be families, parents of adult children, and those adult children have moved away, have lived somewhere else, have done something else for a while, but now they have to come back home. Well, because while they were gone doing their own thing, they didn't live maybe by your standards, by your rules, by your boundaries, but they're back in your home. Guess what? The blending has to happen again, all right? So blended families can mean several things. So this is just telling you all a little bit about me. I think most of you already know me. I'm Frizelma Lynn, the Parenting 911 CEO and coach. 44 years I worked with schools and school districts, teaching children and working with families. I know I don't look much older than that, but yeah, 44 years. And so now here I am teaching parents, all right, working with families. So the goal for Parenting 911, the big why we do what we do, is because truly we want to rescue childhoods. We want the children you all are raising to be able to look back and say, oh, I had an amazing childhood. So sometimes that means we have to provide tools and strategies to help out, okay? I was speaking with a grandparent not long ago, and he said, well, I never learned how to share my feelings because we were not allowed to when I was a child, right? So he's now raising a grandson, and guess what? He doesn't talk. They don't try to figure out things, work together, or any of that. He's not trying to share his wisdom because he was never taught to do all of that. And if he's emotional about something, hurt, if his feelings get hurt, who does he go to? No one. He has no one. He's married, but he wouldn't dare share that with his wife because it makes him look like he's weak. That's what our society has already taught guys and taught men. So we got to be really careful about that. That's unfair to them. All of us have emotions. Every one of us. And we need to know that there's a place or a person that's a safe space that we can share even when we're not doing what we need to do or when we're trying and it's not working, whatever that case is, all right? So that's really our why we do what we do. This just shows you some of the places I've been, some of the people I've seen. What that song is going in my head. So yeah, wherever parents are, we need to be. It doesn't matter if it's at church or a conference here or there. It can be one-on-one. We do coaching one-on-one. We do small group coaching. But wherever parents are, and especially if they're struggling, that's where we need to be. Some of the things we've been featured on, some of you have already seen some of this. Oh, and something new I need to share. We were just featured on the cover of the Opelika Living magazine. So that's been a blessing. I know, Dr. Jamie, you couldn't see it, so I'll put it up there so you can see. So that's been a blessing. I will tell anybody, consistency is the key. You have to get consistent about what you're doing. You can't just do things once in a while. Even when you're raising children, you set boundaries, you set the rules together as a family, but then you have to stick to them. All right? Some of the books, things that we've done and still doing, so we're working on all of that. A couple of them you can see back there on the table. Now we're going to move on. Parenting 911, I just told you that we help parents. One of the issues with families, if the family is dysfunctional, is the system is not working. It's the system that's not working. And guess who works the system? We do. The adults, the the parents, the grandparents, the aunts, the uncles, we work the system. If there is no system, there's going to be chaos. It has to be. All right? So how do we work? We have a free community that you can join by going to the website, parenting911.org. But then we also have coaching programs. We do workshops for schools, for churches. We do live digital courses, whether it's Zoom or not. We train new coaches to help out because as we move and as we expand, I can't be everywhere. Now, all families are under construction. All of us. Under construction. If you're not under construction today, what about tomorrow? I mean, all of us. Okay? So, we're getting ready to see how you're feeling today and find out, how we can share with one another. So, I want you to look up here and choose an emoji. And instead of us kind of coming together with the partner, I think that I want you to choose an emoji. Tell a story from last week, because this is Saturday. Oh, I saw a look already. She doesn't even, she already, from last week. You have 1 minute to tell the story and just share. You can choose any of these emojis. All right? But think about what was last week like. That means some things might have happened where you were surprised, like, OMG, Something might have happened where it was sad to you. So choose a story, and we're going to share it. Who wants to share?
I guess I'll go.
All right. Yes, ma'am. Come on.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Christian Lankin, and I will say my emotion would be cool. And the reason why I choose cool is because last week for me, I finally overcame something that I have been working on now for the past month and a half or so after graduating college. And now I was able to open up the door, and on top of all that, I even had a chance to grow in a certain way where my trajectory of where I want to be immediately changed overnight. I was able to also get out of my head from a situation while I was editing a video because I was struggling so hard. But I was editing a video, and then as I looked at it, I was overcome with so much joy. But also too, I was overcome with relief. And not only that, I even was focused on how would I be showing up in different spaces now, because that's how much I was in my head. But I'm not gonna lie, now whenever I'm showing up in areas, I'm like, okay, I'm cool. I got this. I can handle everything. What the world is mine? So that's just my story on being cool for today.
Okay. All right. And look, you had 2 more seconds. Good job. Good job. Good job. Okay. Anybody else want to share a story from last week? Because like she said, now look, she didn't give up. She kept trying and she got out of her head. Most of us, our problem is right here. Right here. So we do have to get out of our head sometimes to help us move forward. And then when she finally overcame, she patted herself on the back. Most of us don't do that either. Come on now. But we need to. That's called an accomplishment. Yeah. We'll see someone else and we'll say, oh, great job. But when do you look in the mirror and say, oh, great job? We owe that to ourselves as well. Somebody else want to share a story from last week? We'll take one more. Yes, ma'am.
So I would say mine is happy.
Okay.
Because I work at the county health department, and so it makes me happy to know that I'm able to help other people. They come in with attitude sometimes, and it's because I guess they go to other places, and then at the end they tell us like they're glad to come in and realize that it's other people that understand them and try to go that extra mile to help.
Yes.
So they're kind of happy
like, I tried to tell you that from the beginning. Sure. Anyone else? I don't want to take that turn from anybody. If you really want it, I'll definitely give it to you. All right, so, yes, sir. Come on.
I got 3 young boys, 10, 12, and 9. Little girl is 8. The little boy, well, they all have symptoms, I say, autistic problems, but they're very high functioning. And the older boy, having to get along, try to get along with him, I was, it seemed like to the next oldest boy, he's 10, that I'm showing favoritism to the older boy, having to, sometimes the problem that he has to get along with it, and he sees this and he's thinking I'm showing favoritism to the older boy, and it's made him real angry. So I have to, punish him in a certain way, and he's just angry about it.
So how does that make you feel?
I'm curious, disgusted, and embarrassed.
Wow. Okay, so, okay. Thank you for sharing. Thank you, because most people wouldn't even share. Yeah, good job on sharing. You had a few more seconds, but great job. All right, so sometimes we need to have a space where we can share. That's what the Emotions You Know game is all about, you all. It's creating a space at home or wherever you are so you can share. Most of us don't feel comfortable enough to share. For a man to say he was curious about what's going on, disgusted, and what was the other one? Embarrassed. Most men are not even going to say it. They'll feel it, but they won't ever let you know it. Okay? So it's about creating a safe space to be able to share what we're feeling. All right? So let's blend these families together. All right? At least 1,300 new blended families occur every day in the U.S. We're not talking about all everywhere else. I'm trying to move it so you can see. I don't want to move it away. Okay. At least 1,300. You all, that's a lot of blended families. Now, we're just talking about the blended families that are known. What about all those that nobody even knows? That's a lot of blended families every day. And people need to know how to do the blending. How do we work together? How do we figure this out? How do we run this house smoothly? All right? So that's some of what we're going to talk about. Hopefully. All right. Across the racial and ethnic groups, Black children are most likely to live in a blended family, 28%. Y'all, that's something for us to think about. Hispanic children, 19%. White children, 15%. Asian children, 7%. That's something. That grabbed me. I thought, my goodness. So what's happening? What's happening? That we have so many blended families. Don't get me wrong, we need blended families. There are occasions we have to have them. But look at the statistics. We have a lot. Blended families are woven together, some by choice, strengthened together by love, tested by everything, and each uniquely ours. Blended families. All right? So some of us, the issue is, how do we get the children to like this other person? Oh, Dr. Jamie is going to talk about some stuff about us moving too fast and doing stuff. I am excited to hear, because some of that stuff that she's going to tell you, we don't really think about. You see, we're just moving. We're just living it out. But trust me, we've got to go through a process. All right? build a foundation. Some of us never stop to do that. We don't build a foundation. We just start moving. And we think that it's going to be okay. Don't worry, it'll be good, it'll be fine. But no, we have to do this intentionally. It does not just happen. All right? Parents, grandparents, guardians must be on one accord. In agreement. On the same playing field. You can't be playing football and then the other person playing basketball. It's not going to work. Alright? And you need to have a game plan. And let me tell you this, please, you can't create a game plan in front of the children. You have to create your game plan away from them. Because children know how to manipulate one against the other. And they will. That's just nature. All right? Any questions, comments as we go? All right, here are some of the, yes, ma'am.
That's very important because I'm having that issue right now with parent and grandparent.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
So my daughter knows that if I say something, especially because we stay in my dad's house right now,
Mm-hmm.
if I say something, she gonna go to him. And then so it's like, it's playing that role, so it's like I have no control, no power, no say so. So I'm like, it puts me in a situation to like, okay, now we got to move. And what you gonna do when we move? Because now it's put me in a situation of you're gonna basically dislike me or wanna go back there because you can do whatever you wanna do. And I don't like that.
So, you and your dad need to sit down and have a family meeting. Okay? Because grandparents tend to do that, and I'm a grandparent, but I'm this kind of grandparent. I'm going to ask the parents what their rules are. I need to know so that I can do whatever they say. So if my daughter says, when her daughter was a child, she can't have that, guess what? When she's with me, she can't have it. Because we got to be on one accord. All right? So you need to just have a meeting with your dad and say, okay, it's not helping her to know that if I say no, she can run to you to say yes. We need to be together. It's all for the success of the child. Okay? So talk to him. I had to talk to my mom. Remember, I was a young parent. I was 18 years old when my baby was born, the oldest one. And so, of course, my mama thought she was the mama. But at 18, I had to say, no, ma'am. We work together, or I won't let her come to your house.
That was my question. What if you have a grandparent that she does what she wants to with the grandchild and the rules run her way no matter what your rules are? What do you do in that situation?
So I have to ask a question. Do you all live in the same house?
No, we don't even live in the same state.
Okay, well then that's gonna help you. All of that's gonna help you right there. At least you're not having to deal with it every day. Okay, so that's a good thing. But you still need to have a family meeting with her and say, now, children need stability, correct? So she's buying into what you're saying. So here, the rules are blah, blah, blah. And she has stability and she knows them. But when she comes to visit you and you let her do absolutely anything, there's a problem when she comes back home and you're making it difficult for her. See, make sure the parent knows that what they're doing is making it difficult for their grandbaby. That usually causes them to say, because I would say to my mom, okay, now, she's going to have a consequence because of you. You're teaching her to disrespect me if you're not teaching her to follow the rules. That's really what you're doing. You're teaching your grandchild to disrespect her mother. Now, how would you feel if somebody did that to you? All right, so you're going to have a conversation. And for most of us, we don't want to have that conversation. It makes us feel some kind of way to have to talk like that to our parents, right? But this is for the good of the child. So you're going to have that conversation. Yes, ma'am?
Okay, mine is a little unique. Well, not really unique, but I'm the auntie, and this is my half sister's daughter. So there's been family issues amongst us all since I had been born. And I noticed this, once my sister had my niece, what ended up happening was the issues that were going on in the family kind of permeated, and what I noticed is the grandmother of my niece, her real grandmother, I noticed that she kind of likes it whenever we all as siblings have a rift, when we're trying to get everything together and keep the foundation together for baby girl.
Mm-hmm.
So what I realized is this, because we stopped talking now for almost 2 years. Me and my sister did. We stopped talking for 2 years. After my dad had recently just had a very bad motorcycle accident that almost claimed his life like 3 or 4 weeks ago, that was when we started back talking. We did not talk out the problem or the situation, but I finally got my niece back, and whenever she was staying with me, she had a great time. Not only did she have a great time, I also made sure she had structure. Instead of her playing on her iPad all night, I made sure that she was reading a book. She got to learn new words and whatnot, very big words. She's 6, and she cried because I had her read the book, but I read it with her. But I had even said this. I had said, okay, you're going to feel great about yourself. I said, you're 6 years old. Look at the type of words you're reading. You're reading words like sophisticated. You're reading very big words like rebelled and whatnot, stuff like that. And I had said, you're already cheerleader or whatever. Don't you want to make sure that, I said, we want to make sure too that you are going to be accelerating and reading as well, where you're a leader in that sense too. I said, don't you want to go back and go show all of the older students, all the other students that you know words that put you almost on 5th grade level? You're in 1st grade now. But she read the book, she enjoyed the book. Pretty much it was a disruption to what she was already going through at the house.
That's right.
As far as her bedtime goes. But I noticed this, since I had her that week, since I kind of did not allow her to have her way with me while staying with me, she had fun, but also too, she did still say Auntie was mean because Auntie did not let her have her way. I don't care about that. But I noticed this though, after she left the house, I've not heard back from my niece. And I know exactly where it's coming from. And obviously, it's still permeating from situations of lack of communication. So now I'm wondering too, because I know we did not talk for 2 years. And not only that, I was always like, okay, I did not want to lose the connection with my niece. How do I go about having a hard conversation with her grandmother and also even to my sister?
Okay. You got to start with the parent, not the grandparent. Okay?
Right.
That's just like with anything, you all. I tell you all, even if you have an issue at school, you start with the teacher. Then you go up the ladder to the next person. That may be the counselor. Then you go up the ladder to the principal. Then you go up the ladder if you're not getting satisfactory answers to the superintendent. You don't jump over everybody. So don't jump over her mama to get to the grandmama. You start with her mother, your sister, okay? So the first thing I also want to say with this is a blended family issue, you all. Okay? Remember we started off saying most of us think blended families can only be one way, but that's not so. So this is a blended family issue. The first thing you're going to need to do is to have a heart-to-heart with your sister. Honestly. And this is not to overpower. This is not to make her feel that you're judging her. Don't make her feel that way. Maybe play the emotions you know game. Do something that relaxes the atmosphere. Because if you haven't heard from her from that week, see, she would normally, anybody would think she would call and say, "Oh, she had a great time with you," blah blah blah. And what kind of book did you read, or what something? But it lets you know that she already feels some kind of way. That chip on her shoulder, she already does. So you gotta go at this at a kind of slanted angle to get to her. And you start off just talking about stuff, life, whatever you all talked about before the 2 years where you didn't talk at all. Go back to that and make her feel comfortable and good. You're gonna have to ease your way in there with her, but then start that communication back up so that you can have time with the niece as well. Okay? If you need to then go to mom, you do, but you don't ever bypass the parents. All right? Not unless that child is not in the home with the parents. Okay? Good job. Good conversation. The next thing is respect. Give the respect to earn the respect. Give the respect. There are so many of us as adults, we don't give the respect, but we want it. How are you wanting something you don't even know how to give? In other words, you may not even know if you get it, if you don't know how to give it yourself. So give the respect so you can earn the respect. With my mom, this goes back to you because we were not in the same house. Once I told her that if she refused to help my child, like follow our rules at home, then I wouldn't bring her over as much. And I meant that because she was disrupting everything we were trying to do, and you have to say that. Okay? Love and kindness. Yeah, that's where you're gonna have to go with your sister.
Yeah, because I noticed this. I'm usually able to go straight forward and talk to everybody else with no issue, but whenever it does come to me and her, I always feel as though either I have to walk on eggshells or so, or two, it's almost like, how do I approach this? Because I understand too, whenever you're communicating with different people, you have to approach every situation differently.
Absolutely. We're blending. So sometimes as we blend, things don't line up, okay? They're not in alignment. But you've got to work at the love and kindness to get it in alignment so it all just comes together, all right? But that's on you because maybe your sister doesn't have that tool. She doesn't know that that's what she needs to do. That's going to be on you. But your niece needs it.
Yeah.
As bad as it makes you feel to have to do that with your sister, you've got to look beyond that because your niece needs it. All right? So I told a little bit of my story. I think I'm going to hold it off until we end because I'm ready to bring Dr. Jamie up. Consistency is the key. So if you're talking to like your mom or your dad or whatever, you don't let up because they don't want to agree. Consistency is still the key. You don't let up. If it needs to be that way, then after you have that conversation, it still needs to be that way. So you don't let up. That's the part you all have to make sure that you stand firmly on the best thing for the children. Not the best thing for you, but what's best for the child. Most times, moms and dads that don't live in the same house, one parent will say, we have rules here, but when they go to the other parent, they can do anything they want. They come back here, and now we have to start all over again.
Amen.
You all, that's not good for the child.
Yep.
That's not good for the child. The child needs stability across the board at your house and at their house. So always, everything you do, make sure that it's for the betterment of the child, not for you. Construction is a process, and we keep working on it. Maybe the parents won't come around the first time, but guess what? They start coming around, especially if you don't let up. It didn't take, my mama, most people think that I'm a very firm person, right, Tamika? Most people think that I'm a very firm person. Well, they're probably right. I won't say they're not. I'm pretty firm. My mom was probably 10 times as much. So for me to even stand up to her, she knew I meant what I was saying. And then when I reminded her, if she comes back home and she has, let's just say, eaten all the chocolate in your house, and now she has a toothache, now we gotta go to the dentist, now there's another problem, then she won't be back for a long time. Guess what? That's all I had to say. And she understood that. So guess what? She got on board. So you all have to be firm, and you don't have to be mean to be firm. Love and kindness. Firmness just stands. You don't have to be nasty. That's not being firm. That's just being nasty. Be kind and loving. All right, remain calm. That's what I'm trying to say. Please, in all that you do, remain calm. Because guess what? Daddy may say, girl, you don't tell me what to do. Yeah, exactly, but remain calm. Your mama might say, what? You're trying to tell me? I'm your mama. Blah, blah, blah. You remain calm and firm. All right, Dr. Jamie. We're about to put you on blast. All right, let me stop sharing, and I'm going to bring up the Dr. Jamie Newton Knight. I know what you're going to say. I know, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm going to pull you up, make you. All right. Now I'm going to turn the volume up. All right, Dr. Jamie.
Let me get.
Okay, good. I just needed for you to say something so to make sure we can hear you.
Okay.
And I'm gonna try to turn this around so you can also see them. At least most of everybody. You can see some people, correct?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. All right, Dr. Jamie, take it away. It's on you.
Once I share my screen, I may not.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Okay, so go ahead and do that. While you do that, we'll take a quick 2-minute break. 2-minute break. You all ready? If you want something to eat or drink, now is the time. Yes, ma'am. It's all ready. And then I'm gonna go and put it on YouTube. Yeah. It should have gone live though, and I'm that long. I know, but I don't know why I did. Next time. All right, give us just a minute, Dr. Jamie. We're moving around, getting refreshments.
No worries.
All right, excellent. So were you able to hear what we've already talked about?
Some of it, and boy, oh boy.
Boy,
When I heard about the grandparents, I said, "Oh my!" My uncle says to my cousins, my uncle is one of the people who helped raise me. So he says to his daughters, he's like, when they come over here, it's like, yes, I know that I'm grandfather, and that you guys have rules, and I'm not the same dad that I was when you guys were being raised. He was like, they do get away with some stuff that you guys didn't get away with.
wow.
And he was like, so just give me some grace as I try to figure out the balance of like being able to give them some of what they want, but also being respectful to what you guys' rules
Yeah,
are.
that's good. And that's good because he realizes he's different. some parents, uncles, whatever, grandparents, they won't face the fact that they are doing things differently than what they used to.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. All right, we'll be ready in about a minute.
No problem. I'm still trying to figure out how I can see myself on the screen along with the presentation, but it's okay.
Okay, wait a minute. You don't see yourself on the screen?
No, it's okay though. You know how these things are.
Oh yeah, dude. Aggravating. That's how they are.
Yes, I'll just leave it right where it is.
Okay. Well, okay. Well, we see yourself on the screen, so
Okay.
we're happy.
Yeah, another thing when I was listening, I was like, man, it's so interesting how our parents, they still see us as.
You don't even have to finish that statement.
Not just their child, but a child.
A.
Like the wildest thing.
Okay, you are so right. And normally, when I'm coaching parents of adult children, I say the very first issue is, how do you treat another child, another person that's your child's age, that's an adult? And they say, I treat them like an adult. And I ask them the question, then why don't you treat yours like one? Because that's the issue.
That's my baby. I don't know
Yeah.
how.
You can treat other people's children as adults, but you can't treat yours like one. You don't respect your own child as an adult. And usually that's where, a whole lot of problems come.
Yes.
Okay, I think we're ready. Take it over, Dr. Jamie.
Woo. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. First, as you see on the screen, it says the Co-Parenting Communication Roadmap. My name is Jamie Newton Knight. Let me go to the next screen so you can see. I am a follower of Christ, a wife of 16 years, a mom of 4. I have 2 adult children and 2 school-age children. I live in New York. I have over 20 years of lived co-parenting experience. I have an associate's in early childhood, a bachelor's in liberal arts. I have some graduate level studies in marriage and family therapy. Ms. Lynn always calls me Dr. Knight, so I guess that's like my next thing. She's calling it into existence for me. I'm a faith-based co-parenting coach. I help parents co-parent peacefully with conflict-free communication, firm boundaries, a lot of the stuff we've just been talking about, so that they can lead confidently at home and in their careers. And I just wanted to take a pause for a second so that we could take some deep breaths. Because what we already talked with Ms. Lynn was already talking about was a lot to take in. And so I just want us to take some deep breaths. So that we can move forward. How does everybody feel?
Okay, Dr. Jamie, I have a question before you move on. Is there any way that, as you share the screen, that you can use the full screen?
I don't know. Let's see if I can make it bigger or something. Hold on. Are you able to see it better?
Can you all see that a little better? Yes.
Okay, so maybe I won't be able to do.
Okay, let me say, is it because, well, it shouldn't be because your camera is turned straight up and down. I started to say turn your camera horizontally, but that shouldn't be the why.
Could be.
We're trying to help on this end too. Which one? This. This.
See the green button.
That's,
See what happens.
Did that help? Okay, hold on. What did that just say? That's original. Oh, we got you. Dr. Jamie, keep talking. We have you, ma'am. Thank you.
Oh, good. Thank you. So, these are tips for being able to communicate in a healthier way. It can be a challenge when you are trying to communicate with a co-parent who they have their own agenda. A lot of and this, just like you all were talking about, this can be the grandparent, this can be the aunt or the sister. This can be related to any other person in the child's life. So just like Ms. Lynn said, co-parenting doesn't have to necessarily be the mom on this side, the dad on this side, their family on this side, the other one on the other side, and that's what blended families are. It definitely includes all of the people in the child's family. So it can be a grandparent, it can be an auntie. So the first tip is listen attentively. And I think I heard Ms. Lynn say it also. So a tip in that is like repeating what your co-parent said back to them so that you're clear on what they said, because sometimes, I don't know how everyone is, but I know how I was at the beginning of my co-parenting. I was listening to respond. I was not listening to be attentive and to be able to like say, oh yes, I heard what you said. No, I was listening because I was waiting to be like, okay, it's my turn. And now here's what I have to say, right? So take a deep breath when you're listening to the co-parent, listen to what they have to say. You can even repeat back just so that they know that you understood what they said, or so they can't say that you have it confused. And be sure when they're speaking not to interrupt. I know that that can also be challenging sometimes, especially when someone is saying something that you feel like isn't true, or when they're saying something that doesn't seem accurate. Sometimes we'll interrupt or interject. So it's important to let them speak, don't interrupt. And like I said, many times we're so ready to have our rebuttal that we're not exactly listening. So reserve hasty responses, just listen attentively. The next tip is to compromise with finesse. And the reason I say that is because the reason I use the word finesse is because compromising is like this little dance that you have to do sometimes. It's one of the fairest ways to make decisions. So when you're struggling to decide on anything co-parenting, whether it's time management or setting a boundary, you have to learn to compromise. You have to try to figure out a way to compromise. It's the fairest way to decide, and it allows each person to feel heard. This tip will get you so much further than you trying to have it your way, them trying to have it their way. It keeps the child's needs and best interests at heart, and it's really going to solve a lot of issues. Be civil. This is another one that, depending on where you are in your co-parenting journey, this can be a challenge because you may be, and you know what, I'm sorry, I'm gonna pause for a second because I need to share a little bit of my story and how I became blended. So I apologize for skipping and jumping right into the tips. So I am like I said, I have 2 adult children and 2 young children. I was engaged to be married to my son's father. We were together for 7 years. So we were about 3 months away from our wedding, and I found out he was cheating. So now I have to figure out, how do I co-parent with this individual who I don't want to see or hear from at all? Like, how do you do that in the midst of our wedding we were supposed to be married in like 3 short months. Now I have to figure out how to even speak to you, which is something I don't even want to do. And so that was very, very, very challenging because I was also the person who had to let the family members know that the wedding was off, call the vendors, do all the things. You know how it can be sometimes as a woman. You have all the hats, you do a lot of the things. And so it was a challenge. I didn't want to see him, I didn't want to speak to him, but I still knew that we had this person that we had to parent. And so I was like, how do you do that when I can't stand him right now? So that was a challenge. It was a huge challenge, and those are some of the these tips that I'm telling you are some of the things that I had to use in order to get to the space where we were able to even have a basic conversation. So that's a little bit of my story, and we could talk more about it at the end. So be civil. No one is asking you to be friends with your co-parent, right? You don't have any desire to be friends with them. You may not. Some people actually don't mind, having a friendship like they had previously. But some people are like, I don't want to be their friend. Okay, lucky for you, that's not what we're asking you to do. The goal is not really friendship. It's just that you learn to be civil with them, to be able to handle important decision making, important matters, appointments, school events, things like that. So don't assume, listen, and when all else fails, seek mediation or therapy or coaching. You know who you are co-parenting with. So if you have a high conflict co-parent, or you have I don't throw around the word narcissistic because I think that it's important to get a diagnosis, or that person has a diagnosis instead of just saying that this person is a narcissist. So I think it's really important to do that. But if you know that your co-parent is a narcissist, then it can be challenging to be civil, and that is when you will have to have courts, or you have to have documentation. There's a different level of there's a different process that has to take place when you have that type of co-parent.
Dr. Jamie?
Yes.
That same process is different when you have that type of parent yourself. So for the people who are dealing with their parents who are narcissistic and don't want to listen, there's a process of how they need to handle their parents as well.
Yes, it is. And you gave great tips of like having that hardcore conversation of like, this is the line. And listen, you might tiptoe across the line the first time, and I might say, okay, fine. But if I see that you're consistently doing it and disrespecting what I'm, sharing with you, like, these are the rules. You can't keep crossing the boundary. Or like you said, Miss Lynn, the child won't be able to come over for a little while. That definitely draws a line in the sand. Or the example that you gave about the child eating all the candy and then having a toothache and having to be taken to the dentist, like, that's a real thing. So grandparent, look at the mess you just created. Is this what you want us to have to go through and experience? No. Okay, so can you just do your part?
Yes.
Which is respecting the boundary.
Yes. Yes.
So I also heard Ms. Lynn say focus on the kids as well. So here it is again. This is like confirmation for you. Every exchange, every phone call, every conversation is an opportunity to show up for your child. When things start to drift, ask yourself one question. Is this about them, or is this about me? Keep it short, keep it focused. So I'm saying all that to say sometimes conversations, when you have a conversation with your co-parent, that conversation can quickly go into what happened last week pertaining to you or the co-parent. It may have something to do with your relationship in the past and have nothing to do with the child. How is that going to help the situation we are in right now? Like, we're supposed to be talking about said thing, this particular thing. Let's keep focused. Let's keep it about the kids because they're watching. So I also put, your child is the mission. Everything else is a distraction. It's important to keep that in mind. Engage responsibly. So I actually give an example for this one because I just shared with you my story with my ex. So when we were in the throes of things, there was no way that we could communicate well. And so I say engage responsibly because every time my co-parent invited me to an argument, I was there. Gloves laced up. I was in my boxing stance. I was ready to go. Like, if you wanted me to come to an argument, I was there.
Wow.
Because it just felt like the right next thing to do. Like, we don't get along, but okay, let's just argue. There was one argument in particular, and my co-parent's issue had always been finances, money. Anytime he had to pay for something, it was this whole dramatic scene. And so in this conversation, we kept going back and forth and back and forth. And by the end of the conversation, I felt exhausted, like I had been in a real fight. And that's when I made the decision, like, I can't keep doing this because what were we talking about anyway? Like, what was this conversation supposed to be about? And because neither of us remembered, and I'm feeling exhausted, like I've been in a real fight, it was not worth it. So I say engage responsibly. Sometimes the invitation to argue feels impossible to turn down, but ask yourself, is it beneficial?
That's good.
So sometimes, I don't know how all co-parents are, but I know mine used to try to bait me into an argument. And so I had to get to the point where I would say, okay, I could see it starting to come up. So then I would say, okay, you know what, this conversation is actually going in a direction that we're not gonna get anything accomplished. So I'm gonna hang up and I'm gonna call you back in like 10 minutes, or you can call me back in 10 minutes, but I think we just need to not speak for a little bit and let's just, have this conversation a little later. And then he would try, again, more baiting, so you're gonna hang up on me now? I'm trying not to hang up on you, but this conversation is going nowhere, and let's just not have this conversation. And it was a battle to get to the point where I didn't have to just hang up on him, because I did have to do that a few times and that was really for my own peace and sanity, because I can't control him or the things that he does. But I know for myself, when I felt exhausted after that argument, I was like, I can't keep doing this. Here I am stressed out. He probably went back to whatever he was doing beforehand. He was fine, but I'm sitting here like I was in a real fight.
So Dr.
So,
Jamie, that's
go ahead.
an interesting point, and it really sets in with the different types of blended families we're talking about. So one person talked about the connection or communication with her sister. So she has to understand that if the sister tries to bait her into an argument, just because somebody sends you an invitation to the argument does not mean you have to accept the invitation.
At all.
Yeah, so we have to remember that part. Just like talking with your mom, she may not like that and may want to turn that into an argument, but you don't have to argue with her.
That's
And
right.
if it means say, okay, Mom, look, I'll talk to you, later on today, or maybe I'll call tomorrow, because you've got to make sure you stay in control of that part of the conversation. The argument is to distract you.
Yes.
And to cause you to lose focus. That's what the argument is about. And if you, lean in and, as Dr. Jamie said, put your gloves on, ready to box, you just took away from the whole point. The point was to help your child. And you allowed somebody to pull you off of the focus altogether.
Yes. So if you are already in it, like I said, just like what I had to do, I had to disengage. I had to figure out a way that worked for me to disengage. And for me, that was just hanging up the phone. So I have at the bottom, you do not have to attend every argument you're invited to.
But it
It
has
might be
my
hard to
name
do,
on
I'm
it.
telling you, it can be so hard. So again, I like to do, stop stop and do a heart check. How's everybody feeling?
Good.
Everybody's good? So you can reflect on these questions. The first one is, which of the 5 steps is the hardest for you right now and why? The second one is, what is the one thing that you can commit to doing differently in your next conversation with your co-parent? And the third is, what do you want your child to say about how their parents communicated when they grow up?
Wow. That's powerful.
Because they are watching.
That's powerful.
And then I have all the things I just talked with you all about. I have it on this QR code, so if you are interested in downloading the communication roadmap or scheduling a clarity call, you can do so by clicking the QR code. I don't want to go too fast. Just let me know if I need to slow down.
Yes, hold on. Telephones
Okay.
came up and out from somewhere. I don't know. So yeah, give them just a second. All right, we're good.
Okay. And then thank you all for allowing me to be here to have this conversation. I love talking about communication. I love talking about blended family, everything. But communication is a big one because it seems to be one of the largest challenges in co-parenting. So I have all of my information here. Connect with me. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, any social media outlet as Blended Black Family. And then those are my links. So connect with me if you desire. I look forward to connecting with you all. And again, Ms. Lynn, thank you for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, now you stop sharing because you don't get off that easily. We're about to ask some questions.
Absolutely.
Oh, excellent, excellent. All right, let me see. Can you see them? No?
Yes.
Okay, great. Any questions,
I
anybody?
can see for the most part.
Huh?
She said she could see for the most part.
Okay, for the most part. Okay.
I said I can see for the most part.
Okay,
Yes.
excellent. Any questions? Yes, ma'am. I saw your mind turning. I wish she had been able to see. Wait a minute. She even looked up in the air. She's like, oh, yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so my question is, how do you communicate with the co-parent when there are other children involved that come from different maternal sides? Because what we are experiencing is that, our son has 3 other siblings, one that is Caucasian, and she is the one that he tends to have the most trouble with. And when I say Caucasian, the mom is Caucasian and everything, but it's just little things that she'll do. Like when he came back to our home, like she wrote a note that said, I hate that you were even my brother. And when I asked his dad about the situation, I said, how did you approach it? He was like, oh, she's just a girl. And for us, it was kind of like, if you can't resolve this issue, then we may need to separate some time and keep him here. Because it's just different, he's a kid that has a passionate heart, and family is first, God then family, and for him to receive something like that, it hurt him to the core. And we would have definitely addressed it had it been our child, but it's only so far we can go when it's his part. So how do you just go about communicating with your child when we try to keep it really positive, but when you know that his dad hasn't really addressed the issue, then how do you even just go about that?
All right,
Wow.
Dr. Jamie.
So I go back to something Ms. Lynn said earlier about having that hard conversation. I think that's the challenge that most of us have is being able to sit down and have that conversation. So yes, the first time it was mentioned, maybe it was passed off like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. She just this and she's that. But that is a serious that's something that's really serious and needs to be addressed. And so saying again, listen, I know that we spoke about this before, and you brushed it off as if it wasn't a big deal, but I really think that you need to consider the fact that this is how it made your child feel, your other child feel. So let's sit down and have a conversation, first you and I, and then let's the three of us sit and the two of us sit and have a conversation with our son about how, because again, she may do this again. She might do that again. And then as a parent, I think it would be up to you on what steps you take on how often the child is, around. But I'm not sure how that works depending on, some parents have their children every other week. So you may not be able to control it, but you could only give your child the tools that they need to be able to handle that situation. And how old is your child?
He's 14.
Okay, yeah. So then your child will be old enough to, to be able to have a straightforward conversation with him. And yes, even though it is still going to be very hurtful, having a conversation with your child is important, but also having your co-parent understand the severity and the seriousness of it, I think is important too. So doubling down and saying we really do need to talk, because this is how it affected our child is going to be important.
All right, we have another question. I want to add a little something. Do you mind if I add this before you go? Okay, so in some cases, it would be best if just the mom and dad sit, and talk this out. But then you also have to add in the step parents, because it would be wonderful if all of the parents could come together at the table and be on one accord. All right, that would be just the perfect way, and that's what you want to go for in the end. Okay, so go ahead, sir.
No, and what you just said is perfect, because we all do want to be on one accord. But here's the issue: when you have one parent that sits back and, for lack of better terms, doesn't know how to be a parent. See, they've missed 7 years of this child's life, and they come in and it's like they want to sit there and it's like they want you to do as I say and not as I do. See, I grew up in a very structured household, and it was, my grandmother raised me, and it was a sign that was over the door: do what you need to do so you can do what you want to do. So see, that was the structure that I grew up with. And one of the things that my wife has taught me is that the love and compassion. Oh, see, I had to really learn that from her, because see, me coming in, I'm like, no, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do this, and I had to learn that no, Curtis, you can't do it, you can't do it like that. But the bigger issue is this: is that the other parent doesn't know how to be a parent. It's even gone as far as, he had graduation a couple weeks ago. You're here and you missed it. So you look at that as, oh, I forgot. How in the world do you sit there and say you forget something of the magnitude of that? I made sure that everything around my schedule was centered. He graduated on my birthday. So, for lack of a better term, work already knew it's my birthday anyway, but my son graduates. But the biggest issue that comes to the table is that what I find to gravitate to and have the biggest issue with is two things. I learned years ago that somebody's wrong doesn't give you the right to treat them wrong. Now, I learned that years ago, because those that go to prison, when they serve their time, they come out, still don't give you the right to treat them about the crime they did, because they paid their debt to society. So that encompasses in my head. But the biggest thing is disrespecting my wife, because it's, oh, that's just Christy. Oh, I can do this. No. I stand 10 toes, 10 fingers. my wife. And if you got anything to say, you direct it to me first and then her. But to add on to it, so to speak, the issue is he don't know how to be a parent. He hasn't been around. He doesn't know the things that I know about our, about our son.
He's a fun parent.
You know, he doesn't know the things that I do, or no, not that I do, that I see.
Yeah.
He'll come, and the thing is, he'll come and talk to me. I want to talk to him. And that's the issue. But it's just one of those things, and I say this, and it's about all the things in which you talked about, the composure side to it. Oh, I'm a pastor, of course. And it's like, of course, you know, but see, it's first natural, then spiritual. Because, see, I'm a man before anything else. I'm a man before anything else. And the natural side be wanting to,
Yeah. But you gotta have that composure.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, Dr. Jamie, I'm gonna let you start. I'll
I
finish.
was gonna
but
say, oh my goodness, he reminds me so much of my husband in terms of, like he said, his wife is I call myself the calm and my husband is the storm, because we couldn't be more different. Like, he's the rah-rah, like, don't even come at my wife, and I'm the, like, loving kindness husband, calm down. Like, that is just who we are. And so as a single mom going into a relationship with my husband, I didn't have boundaries down really well. I will say that. And my husband would say, like, you know, you need to consider this and you need to consider that. And as a single mom, I was offended. Like, what? This is working for us. Like, yes, he comes over at random, but he's coming to see his child. Like, don't you see the greater good is he's coming to see his child? And my husband would be like, yeah, but he needs to tell us when he's coming to see his child.
come on now.
There needs to be some boundaries and structure. And I was like, yeah. So that was hard as a single mom. I'm not gonna lie. That was really difficult. And moving from my singlehood, and this is how I've always done things, to having a partner who was right there and who was like, there needs to be some structure. You know, there's a man in the house now, and things look different. So him being able to draw that line was so helpful into how things started to become better in our family. I will definitely say that for sure. But I was also going to say that he too has a better relationship with my son than his own dad. And that still is that space of, like, your core family, you having to continue to build that nurturing space and that safe space for the child, because no matter what they do over there, the other parent, you're not gonna be able to control it. He didn't come to the graduation, there's nothing you can do about that. Did he miss it? He did. I'm gonna tell you one thing, my son is an adult now. And the stuff that I wanted to say back then when he was little, like, oh my God, this man never remembers anything. My son remembers it now as an adult. So I never had to say, he didn't do this and he didn't do that and look at what he's doing and watch it. Never. Because children are paying attention. And my son said, Mom, you never talk bad about him. But now as an adult, I see all the things that you probably experienced with him as when I was a kid, because I'm experiencing them with him now as I'm an adult man. And I was like,
Wow.
You can't control your dad. You can only control how you react to him.
That's
So
right.
just remember that moving forward. Like, you
That's
can't control them. You want them to show up. You want them to be a part. You try to include them as much as you can, but you can't make them.
That's right.
They're
Okay.
missing out.
Yeah, she said it.
All right, I love all of that. Now that was powerful. I'm jumping right in with that, Dr. Jamie. So you've already said he doesn't know how to be a parent, so we can't expect him to be one. That's what Parenting 911 does. It provides people with tools that maybe they never had. All right. So you know that you're dealing with someone that does not know any better. Let's just say it that way, as far as the parenting part. However, Trey is not missing a thing. Do you understand? So he one day, as an adult, will look back on the childhood and know who was there for him. He didn't miss It wasn't the person that should have been, but it was the person that needed to have been, and he was right there for him.
Yeah.
All right.
Amen.
Our grandson, the oldest one, called. He's 21 and was getting ready to go into the military. He called, very upset. He said, "Explain to me, Grandma, why my father, who was the one teaching me to be a man, is the one that is not a man." Because he left our daughter, 5 children he left, and they were teenagers, or the older ones. He got married like the next month. So what do you think these teenagers thought? You understand? So that's a part of the story. And now they're grown, and he's upset. He's like, why is the man who was supposed to be teaching me how to walk like a man, talk like a man, be a man, he's not one. And what we had to help him with in the end is understand this. Just because the person that should have been there was not there, that doesn't mean you didn't have anyone.
Mm-hmm.
So now he'll call and thank my husband for being a man in his presence. So just keep being the man in his presence, because he's watching you. He does not want to see you act like his dad. That's why you have to have the control and constraints. Now when it comes to him coming over unannounced, that you're going to have to stop.
Now that
And
definitely
it
don't
has,
happen.
yeah,
That definitely doesn't happen.
Yeah, no more.
It's a clear understanding.
I
of
bet it is
you
now
will
with the man in the house.
And you will text, and you will talk to her and not the child.
Woo.
You will communicate with her and
Exactly.
not the child.
Absolutely.
Because I don't play that. Ask your mama, can you? No. You that.
Okay, so you have to stay firm on those boundaries to help him learn how to start being a parent. So all of that is helping him learn to start being maybe even a man and a parent. If there are no boundaries, people will do anything they want to do. That's anybody.
yeah.
There have to be boundaries. Now, when there was not a man there in the house, yeah, he might have wanted to do. Oh, now he couldn't have done that in my house. My husband, he's like, oh, y'all don't know my wife. My wife is me. I don't play that. I mean, my daughter, I tell her, she said, oh, you got boundaries. Yes, ma'am. So you have to have boundaries. Stop allowing people to walk over you just because they're the other parent. Just because they're the grandparent. Just because they're the sister. Have boundaries. And the boundaries are not really about, you. They're about what's best for the child. All right? Any other questions? I'm sorry, y'all really got me going with that
I
now.
have a question, but I have a quick comment.
Yes,
and,
ma'am.
and I know that tears are flowing because my heart is so full.
Yes.
And the last time I spoke with you, I said, when will you have another blended family? And we didn't care if we were late today, but we're here. But Dr. Jamie,
Uh-huh.
thank you. What you said is confirmation. We won't have to say a word, and we've never spoken.
She's coming.
We've never spoken ill intent of our son's father. We haven't. We try to keep everything faith-based. We do give him transparency, but we keep it positive. But what you said is, we won't have to say anything. He'll see him for who he is. And when he comes back to us, and he can't even talk to his dad, he'll talk to
His dad.
And so my heart is full today as tears flow because God makes no mistakes. However, when you know that your child is hurting because he's thankful that he has a bonus dad, but then it's like he's just looking for something. I don't want to say that he may not ever see, but again, you said you won't have to say a word. He'll be able to see him.
Not a word.
Not a word. And so, but thank you.
She's so right about it. So
You're
good.
welcome. Thank you.
You won't have to really do anything out of godly character.
That's it.
You won't have to do that. Stay in godly character. because Trey is watching you, so that he can know what godly character is, because he's not getting that from his dad. Any other questions? My goodness. Yes, ma'am.
So in my situation, I have a 9-year-old.
Can you hear her, Dr. Jamie?
No, I cannot.
Okay. In my situation, I have a 9-year-old daughter, with my ex-husband, and he'll get into a relationship and to only be there maybe 6 months to a year and hop to another one, or still be in this relationship. And so he has a child with one lady, but my daughter says he's entertaining someone else, and she's been to the other lady's house, and she's built a relationship with the other lady's kids. So it's hard for me because I want her to spend time with her dad, but it's like she's being taken from house to house to house, and I don't want to put her in that type of situation, and it'll make me look like I'm just the bitter baby mama, they say. But I'm trying to protect her. So what should I do in this situation?
All right,
That one can be such a challenging situation because, again, we can't control what they do when our children are with them. We can only hope that you're going to do the right thing, and so it can be a challenge. Like you can have I don't know what type of relationship you have with your co-parent, if you can even have that conversation, but I know a client who had that happening in her life, but the father actually had like different people all the time, and it got to the point where she was like, I'm just exhausted, like I can't tell him, you know, that the child can't, if I keep the child so that he can go from house to house, then I'm exhausted as a mom. And then, you know, if I send the children with him, I have to worry about the fact that they're going to be all over the world. And I was like, well, the one thing you have to keep in mind is, number one, this is a person that I chose and I had a child with. Do I trust them enough to keep them safe when they're in your care? Now, my son's father had a particular girlfriend, and different things would happen while he was there, not with her, but I had to say, I have to trust that he's going to keep him safe while he's there. Otherwise, I would have had him all the time. So you have to decide, like, you know your co-parent better than anybody else. Do you trust that when your child is in his care, that they'll be okay, even if another woman is around? Or does he leave the child with the woman and goes? That might be a different conversation. But if he's there, do you trust that he's gonna keep your daughter safe when she's in his care?
He drives trucks, so even if he isn't driving trucks, he doesn't be there from my understanding. And also the reason why I haven't talked to him about this situation, is because I know if I do, he's gonna either try to cuss her out or whoop her because she's telling his business. So,
Right.
and she didn't even tell me this. One of my other kids, my older kid, asked her, about the situation, and that's how she, and I was like, you didn't tell me that, but she know I don't care, like what he got going on, who he talked to, so I guess that's why she didn't tell me, but she knew probably if she would have told me, I would have said something, but I have learned to not say certain things because I don't want him to do anything to her or cuss her out or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, that's a challenging one. Especially because your feeling is that she's going to bear the consequences of something you say. So even trying to have a conversation with him as an adult, from parent to parent, is a
still, does the court require for her to be with him?
We just got divorced, so I think it's like every other week. But I was letting her go every week.
More often?
Yeah, but he don't even know we divorced yet.
Okay,
Cause he didn't go to court. He didn't come to court.
okay. How does she feel about going?
Only time she just wants to go to play with the lady has 5 kids, so one of the kids, she has gained a great relationship, so she goes to be with her, and I be like, I hate that because it's like every time he gets with women with all these children, and I be like, it's hurting the children.
Yes. That's
So,
fair.
but she got an iPad, and I told her, like, if he doesn't stick around since he done picked up another lady, like, you got Melania's information. Y'all can stay in. I'm not that type of person. You
Right.
can still
They can stay in
talk to her and
contact.
contact. Plus, she ain't got no choice because they got a baby together. So,
Wow. Whew. Yes, ma'am, that's kind of difficult. That's one of those conversations that gonna be prayer and fasting. All right, yes, ma'am?
It's crazy because I was a child in that same situation where I would go with my dad every summer to Montgomery. So, you know, he would have different women around me and stuff, and it definitely changed my perception of him. So I definitely understand how she feels with not wanting to say anything because I remember when I'll be down there, I was supposed to be down there with my dad, but he would drop me off at like his brother's house, which is my uncle, and I'll be basically over there for the whole summer, and he would have a girlfriend, and she was very abusive and like verbally abusive, you know, stuff like that. So I understand how she feels, and it's not a good feeling, but yeah, I understand. So yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Did you hear her?
I think I heard most of what she said.
Okay.
She was saying that she was the child
Correct.
that used to have a parent, a dad, who would go from house to house and have a bunch of girlfriends. I don't think I heard a lot of the end, but I did hear her say that changed her perspective of her dad.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Absolutely.
that's definitely what it's doing. Like, your daughter is watching you.
Mm-hmm.
And she's not only watching what you do, she's watching how you treat this woman. How is she being treated when she's there around you and this woman? And then are you gonna, again, it goes back to like the safety of our kids, because
Yes.
sometimes people get into relationships, and I'm saying this because there was a situation in New York, and it was all over the news, where a mom had her child, her and her boyfriend in the house. She left the baby with the boyfriend, and the boyfriend was abusing the child. And it's like, you have to be very careful of who you're leaving your children with. So when the mom said that her ex has the child around a bunch of different people, I empathize, because I know, I'm like, that can be dangerous. He has to understand this, you know, how serious that is. And if he feels safe with his children around this woman, he has to be mindful of like, who am I having my children around? Daughter or son, doesn't matter. And so to the young lady who said she was the child, it's almost like the mirror.
Yes.
She is the child who was in the situation, and she's forming an opinion of who her dad is based on what she's seeing.
That's right.
And I don't know I hope your experience wasn't a bad one with your dad, where you know, other than seeing a bunch of different women, but if it was, I'm sorry you experienced that. And I hope that you have encountered other amazing men to combat what you had to deal with your dad.
Wow. All right. Whew. Yeah. So let's go back to something, and if you have questions, I'm coming back to you. But let's go back to this statement that I made just about why I'm even out here trying to do something different. Yes, it's a calling on my life. But why? The why is to rescue childhoods, because these children are going to grow up and look back at the situations we adults put them in.
Amen.
Mm-hmm.
So true.
And some of those situations were not good. And we could have handled them differently. The question then will be one day, why did we let them stay in those situations? Why didn't we do something? Why didn't we save them? Why didn't we rescue them? What will be our answer? Any other questions? Comments? I got, hands went up all over the place, Dr. Jamie. Okay, we'll go here. Let's just go around the room, okay?
Okay, so my situation is, got 4 kids, and as you can say, rescue the kids, and took the kids and had them for 4 years, and tried to do the co-parenting with the mother, with the grandmother, with the family. But when you allow the kids to go with that family, with their family, you get backlash where they get to go with them and do whatever they want to do, but when they're with you, you have structure. And you're trying to raise these kids and you're trying to rescue them, you're trying to teach them the right way. You're doing all these fake things with them. You take them to church, you done got them to join church, you're doing everything with them, but they're wanting their mother. They're begging for their mother. They want their mother to do everything for them. It doesn't matter that I'm there and I'm pouring into them. As soon as they get with their mom, that's where they want to be at. So what do you do when you got children that you are loving, you are caring for, you're trying to do everything for them, you're trying to rescue them, you're at the school fighting for them, but all they want is their mother's love.
Can I be honest with you? That happens with parents when their children go with, especially if the dad's house is the no structure fun house, that happens with us as well. So my son would go to his dad, it would be fun all weekend, they had barbecues, they went here, they went there, they did all the things, and when he comes back, it's school, so there's a shower at a certain time, there's homework at a certain time, there's no video games at certain times. When he goes there, it's the weekend, so he can do whatever there's no, you gotta turn the video game off at a certain time. It's just free and fun, and so there's no structure. Then he comes home, and then he's upset, and it's like, I wanna go, and I'm feeling like I'm the person who's here all the time. I take you to all the things. I'm doing all the things. All the stuff that you request, you require. It just is that way. I think that they long for that person who is not around the most. You are safe. You're not going anywhere. They know you here. They know that you're here and that you're safe.
Right.
And so they often will try to pull that person that is not around as much. So that's where you visibly can see the love. I miss my dad. I want to go with my dad. I want to go with my mom. Because they miss that. That's the person they're missing the most. So even though it may feel awful in it, because I can speak from experience. When you're going through it, it feels awful. And you're like, but what I would have to do is go to my prayer corner and like, Lord, you know how I'm feeling right now about my son, coming home and still requesting this person who shows up for nothing, right? No interest in school stuff, no interest in parent-teacher conference, no phone calls for the week to say, how you doing? Just pop up when they feel like it. And this is who he's longing for. Help me in my spirit to kind of come to peace with the fact that that's who he misses because that's who he knows is not around.
Right.
And that's hard. And I had to keep praying that prayer. And it didn't look the same all the time, honestly. But honestly, that's how I got through it. But it's something that's going to continue to happen because they know, like I said, you're the safe person. They know you're there. You're gonna be there. You're gonna show up. When they want to cry, you're that shoulder or that lap. But that other person, not so much. So they long for that.
So the question is, would it be best for them to be immersed into that world that they think that they want to be in, just so that they can know that this is not what they want, or at least they'll have a chance to experience something that they feel like they're missing out on?
You mean, you said, is that a better experience? Some people will not want to ever, like, if you know that your co-parent is probably not the best parent to have raised that child, it's probably better you keep things the way that they are.
But I'm saying for
However,
the child
my son,
understanding.
She said for the child.
Yeah, for the child's understanding.
For the child's understanding, she said.
right, so for my son, I let him go live with his dad when he got a little bit older. He was, actually, he was the one who came to me and said, you know, I want to move with my dad, and, you know, I think that you've done so much so far. The way he framed it was, it's his time to be a parent, right? And he went, and he lived there for 2 years, and he was like, I don't even feel like his child in this house. Lived experience was his best teacher, but he's a boy, he wanted his dad.
Yeah.
It's different than, you know, the situation where, I don't know how, the situation with the mom, you know.
Right,
And
right.
what her situation is. So, for me, I could say, sure, okay, go live with your dad and, you know, have my hands up, I'm always here. I was still the one going to all the conferences, the parent-teacher conferences, and it wasn't even in my area, so I had to travel to where he now lived, which wasn't close to me, to continue to attend these things when his father, who lived in the house with him, was still not attending.
Right.
But he had to see that for himself.
So
And like you said, he had to experience it.
I want to add this. Remember this. There are two things that came to my mind. One is separation anxiety, and children have that even for that parent that's not doing what they need to do. All right, that's just it's already in us. Okay, so they want that. But something else, Dr. Jamie said. Understand this: children want what they want. They don't want what they need. They are children. They just want what they want. It's up to us to make sure they get what they need.
But how do you turn a need into a want where it has that? Because I noticed this with children. Of course, you know, you have to structure a child. You have to discipline a child, make sure that they not only know right from wrong, but create them to be the next business leader, or at least to be the next, you know, person who is considered functioning in society the way how not only you would see fit, but even in that child's mind, how, well, I would say how they would see fit, depending on the kid.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, the balance between need and want, where it kind of corresponds into something where it seems as fun, but they don't realize that it's actually meant for structure.
So if you can create something and make it fun that you know they need, great. However, let's go back to the beginning of this whole conversation. We talked about firmness and boundaries, and you don't pull back.
Yeah.
They stand, because you don't know where in that child's development that they'll ever understand what the need was. Now, think about some parents we have right now. They still don't understand the difference in need and want. You understand? So just because they don't understand it doesn't mean we pull back. We have to understand what the children need. Let me tell you what, to me, one of the hardest things is to realize that your child really doesn't need you. They need to be with somebody else.
Right.
Now, that's a hard decision.
I was just about to bring that up.
Yeah, that's a hard decision.
Yes.
When you realize you are not helping them, you're not doing what's the best for them, they don't really need to be with you.
Or if that child doesn't see that you're doing everything for them, that you are that safe person, that you are that safe space.
Yes.
They get disrespectful. They decide they like I said, want mom or somebody else to tend to them, and then you got to come back home, and you still in this place of you're not doing anything. You just feel like you're not doing anything for the kids. So now, do I release you and allow you to go and think they're gonna help you, or do I continue to fight for you, and you still say you don't need me?
And it has to be tough love.
Yeah.
It's got to be tough love. You've got to remove your feelings out of the way. it's gotta be tough love.
Yeah. Would that parent even have the child? Because sometimes kids want to go with the parent
That don't want
This is
them.
where I want to be. That parent don't even want you in their house. Like the weekends are good enough for them. They don't want longer than that.
That's the situation she's talking about.
Situation. The mother
So
doesn't
see,
want
yeah.
the
So
children.
even if you like, it's funny that, but kids are that way. Like I wish that I could. I wish I could give you more opportunities to be with your mom. I do, but your mom's schedule doesn't allow it. You know, or whatever the reason why, mom's not seeing them as often. I can only do what I can do, and this is what I'm giving to you. They will eventually see it. It may not be something that it may feel like it's not happening, but it's gonna come back to you.
Yes.
It takes time, but it will. So just know that you're doing a good job, and you're doing exactly what you're supposed to do by giving them boundaries, by giving them structure. It may not feel that way, but you are.
It feels tough. I know that. Yes, ma'am.
It is.
Okay, I was always raised up with step parents. It was never my mom and my dad. It was always my mom and stepdads, we'll put it that way. And then like my dad and my stepmom. And it was always good relationship. We always, when it was family gatherings, we always got together. I had stepbrothers, we were always good together. We never argued. The step parents, it was always good. So now that I'm older and I'm in a relationship and me and my fiance blended family. I've got my 2 kids. Their father has passed away. So it's now me and him. He has a son. I have my 2 children. How do you work out a situation where the son's mother, you tried to have a relationship with her, she wants nothing.
To do it.
Absolutely nothing. You went up and tried to talk to her, down to the point of I went up to her in a grocery store and she has fully done a 360 and walked away from me with her son. And we've been in a relationship for almost 3 years now. I see her son all the time. Down to the point of like, there are times that I could be watching her son and I could be helping the grandmother by keeping him, but instead she puts more responsibility on the grandparents because she doesn't want him around me more because of, I don't know what it is. And I've tried to have a relationship with her, and I love that boy. Y'all, I'm gonna cry. I love him like he's my own. Because I treat him like he's my own. I would never treat him any different than he was my own. And I just don't understand. I've tried to have a relationship with her, and she won't go for it. Like, she won't even have, I went over there for Christmas, and she just makes it awkward. She won't look at me. She, like, when we went over there for Christmas last year, my own kids, because even my own kids, they don't understand a relationship like that. They just, me and their dad, when he had his own girlfriends and I had my own boyfriends, we always just got along. That's just all they've been used to. And when we went over there for Christmas, they were just like, oh, this is awkward. Like, we're not used to this. And I was just like, y'all just sit down. It's not something we're used to. And I just don't know how to work a situation like that. When I've tried so hard, and I've even asked my fiance, I've asked him so many times, what is the issue? Like, did I do something wrong? Did I look at her the wrong way? Did I say something wrong? And I mean, like, there was a time that she was on the phone, she called her son, and I don't know what happened, but she said something disrespectful to my daughter, and I didn't say anything out the way to her because I know how it is. And I went to my fiance and I said, look, she said something out the way to my my daughter, you need to say something to her. I'm not gonna say nothing to her because that is Jatara's mom. That's her mom. You say something to her, and he did.
Good.
He said something to
Good.
her. He took care of it.
Good.
So I can't say he's doing anything wrong. He's doing what he's supposed to do. But I don't understand. I've tried so hard.
So let me tell Dr. Drake, I'm going to let you jump in, but let me say this, please. We call that baby mama drama, okay? That's just baby mama drama, honey. And no matter how hard you try, she doesn't want there to be any peace among you.
Yeah.
Okay? That's baby mama drama. Now let me tell you what, you keep treating that boy like he's your own. You keep loving on him. You be fair. You be good, because it's his life that you're trying to change. You're helping to raise him, not her.
Yeah.
All right, Dr. James.
Right.
I'm sorry.
I was gonna say that's the relationship that you're trying to build is with the son.
Yes.
And so the relationship with her, although you want it, and I understand why you would, it's not the most important one. However, I was also going to say that oftentimes, first of all, don't carry that, because that's not your thing to carry. Like, that's her bag.
Yeah.
Whatever is the reason why she can't accept you is her stuff. And so oftentimes I will say that it has to do with the relationship with your fiance, which is her ex. So it could be how it ended. It could be some miscommunication that they had going on at the end of it. So most of the time, that's the issue.
Yeah.
And it just kind of filters over into the new relationship. So
Yeah.
it usually isn't about you at all. It really is her beef with him. You
And-
just happen to be, you're the person that catches the heat
I don't know
because
about
you're there.
Yeah, she's catching.
Phrase as it.
Yeah, she's catching the heat. So stop wearing it.
Yeah.
Stop wearing that. You move on. She wants you to catch it. She wants you to be right there where you are right now. So as of today, let that go. You leave that with her. You know what we tell children sometimes? If somebody's bullying you, just ignore them. We say that. Ignore her. Move on. His life, the child's life, is more important. Okay? Yes, sir. I knew I was coming back to you. I didn't forget.
You're good. You're good.
Okay.
You are good. One of the things I say is this. One of the hardest things for us in life to ever understand is that when someone acts the way that we don't think that they should act, when we don't see us in that person,
Yeah.
I tell my wife this all the time. When you don't see you, and you were repeatedly saying, I don't understand why. I don't understand why. It could be a variety of things. It could be just what she said. She's looking at your relationship, and she wants what you have, so
Yeah.
she wants you miserable. That's why she's going to continue it. It could be how she was brought up. She was brought up in confusion. That's just how she equates to it. That's all she knows. She doesn't know peace. You remove yourself from it because that's her issue, not yours.
Yeah.
You don't have anything to do with that. Now, when she does say something to your daughter and it's wrong, yes, you tell your fiance, but you should also have the right to go to her and tell her that's not right. Because she's telling that to your child. That's your child too. But that's her issue, not yours.
Yeah.
Never allow anybody to put their bearings and weight on you. Because if you continue carrying that, your blood pressure high. You got anxiety. You're the one sitting up trying to figure out, why am I going through this? And she's sitting in the corner laughing because she got you exactly what she wants.
Yeah.
What is it? Mind over matter.
Yes.
You don't mind because she don't matter.
Okay.
That's as far as that goes. Now, to what you were saying, we always have to put God in everything it is that we do. Everything it is that we do. The Bible tells us, train up a child in the way that he must go, and when he's old, he will not depart from it. The Bible also tells us in the book of Proverbs, which is the book of knowledge, trust in the Lord with all thine heart. Lean not to thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he will direct thy path. When your baby goes to be with her daddy, send God with her. When your baby is with her daddy, you send God with her. God fixes things much better than we ever will be able to do it. Because if you talk to him and he endeavors to want to do something or try to talk wrong to her, the Lord will fix it to where it's here, I'm not going to allow you to do that. He'll never understand it, but the Lord will fix it to where it's, I'm not going to allow that to happen. We pray over Trey daily.
Amen.
Daily. Hourly, for that matter. There have been times that I'll go back in the room and put my hands on him when he's asleep, just to go ahead and to anoint him. But you put God in the midst of it, and you let the Lord deal with it. In the Bible, and the last thing I'm gonna say is this: the Bible says 365 times, "Do not fear." Do not fear. So don't fear. Give it over to God, and I'm telling you, God has a way of fixing stuff way better.
Yeah.
And your baby will have peace, and most importantly, you'll have it. I'm done.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did want to say, like, don't change who you are. Also, so number one, all baby mamas aren't mad, bitter, and jealous.
That's right.
Some actually do have, like, there is a real situation that caused them not to, like I said, maybe it was the way that it ended, and that there are still things that were left unanswered, or maybe you don't know that they were still together, or he was telling her whatever. There could be a number of different things. It could be that she's just angry, and it's not at you. It's really your fiance or her ex that she's mad at. You're just catching the strays. But I wouldn't change who I am. If
That's
I'm a
right.
person who speaks to everybody, I'ma still speak to you, girl. If you don't want to speak, that's your problem. That's not my problem. I told my husband the other day, it don't cost me nothing to say hello to somebody. If they choose not to speak back, that's your thing that you carry, and I personally don't care. So if you know that you're a person who's like, I just speak when I'm in a room with a bunch of people, my kids are there, their mom is there, and I say hi, and she don't say nothing back, let her sit in your hello. Hey girl, I hope you having a good day, and you carry on and do whatever you need to do.
It was a
That's
whole
gonna be her thing.
situation of my mama.
Like she's gonna have to sit with that, not you.
My mama loves
Keep
him
being
like
exactly who you are.
my mama loves him like her own grandson. Like buys him just like my own. And she's seen him in the grocery store with her. She didn't know who she was, because like I said, we've only seen her like 2 or 3 times the whole time we've been together. And she's seen him. And she went up to him and she was like, hey, how are you doing? And she just reached her hand out and she was like, hey, my name is such and such. She was like, it's nice to meet you. She literally reached her hand out like that and turned around. I was like, excuse me, you didn't have to do her like that. And I was like, I've never met her before. I was like, cause this is my son. I want to know who you are with my son, you know? And I was like, my name is Rebecca. Who are you? And she was like, that's none of your business, and walked off. And that's when I called my fiance and was like, who is this? She looks like such and such. He was like, I'm sorry. He was like, that is his mother. And I was like, why is she acting like
But
that?
now you know where she gets it from. It's just her. It's her nature.
And that's when he told me. He was like,
That's her
I'm
nature.
so sorry. He said, she acts like that. And I was just like, why? Why does she act
He
like
should have
that?
warned you, but yeah, that's in her nature. Yeah. He should have warned you. Okay, so we have like 3 minutes. Yeah, 2 minutes. All right, I'm gonna close with this. This is my story. So my husband and I have 6 adult children, 9 grandchildren with a 10th one on the way. That's one of them back there. We are a blended, trust me, blended. But finally, we did this. We came right together. Over the years, Dr. Jamie said, don't change who you are. I never did. I still pray for all of them. Their mamas too. To the point where when I had the cancer experience, babies' mamas were coming to check on me, bringing presents, bringing gifts, because they knew over the years I had never changed. Whether they spoke to me or not, honestly, I could care less. I would say, hello, how you doing? Move right on. I I treated the children well. See, this is what my husband asked me before we got married. He said, will you help me raise my children? He didn't say help me raise my children's mamas. So my focus was on those children. And over the years, the mamas came on board. And we don't have a problem. Because they know I'm going to go straight to God. They know I don't play with what I do. I'm who I am, and I'm the same person I was 29 years ago when I married him. So you all have to set your boundaries and stay there. And don't move them. You don't pick up the stakes to move them because somebody doesn't speak. Who cares? You don't pick up the stakes and move them because daddy or their daddy doesn't want to act right. No, you keep your boundaries. And they will pay off because that child is watching everything, living in it. They're living in it. So it's up to you to keep your boundaries. All right? Dr. Jamie, I want to thank you. You are amazing. This has been, oh yeah, we start talking and can't stop.
Yes.
So this is an amazing conversation. I don't like to teach something, and I don't think you really can teach it well if you haven't lived it. So when we talk about blended families, I live it every day. All right? They call me grandma. They don't call me step grandma. They don't call, the children call me mom. That was one. They call me mom. So do what you do. It pays off for them. You're also teaching them how to treat their own children. Every day. You're now changing generations because you're teaching them how to treat their own children.
Right.
All right? Okay, it's time for us to go. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank you.